Hello.
And so
This
our
is
game
a
begins.
TvZ. We're on the MMR of 3200, and today we'll just be going through my thought process. And the main focus of this game is microing and macroing, specifically trying to spend my gas. So let's just get through it. So this is really for my own recording, so I can look back on and use YouTube as a
Whoops,
iCloud, I
you forgot
guess.
to build more depots.
Something to like store my data, I guess. But this is really more for myself. And right now it's just very standard play. 14 depot, 15 racks, 16 gas. And I'll try to keep the cursor out of the way. But it's really pretty standard right now. One of the mentalities that I try to have is to stay calm whenever I can and really just pay attention to my gas this game. 17 scout going around the base. So this game is actually the first game where I actually went Thors, and oh my gosh, they are amazing. They soak up banglings like a charm. So this will be the standard Reaper and Marine opening, and then obviously get the command center on the low ground. We see the Zerg hatch, meaning that it's probably not going to be anything too aggressive, which is really good for us because I hate playing against early rushes. Something that I need to get better at.
Except it can't transport workers.
But we'll work on it one game at a time. So we see the hatch, or the Zergling pool. Not even finished yet, so we know for a fact that he's a macro player, from what it seems like. We send the Reaper out. We get some scouting in to be a little bit more annoying. I think in Diamond 3, they tend to get a little bit more distracted, so I feel like we'll get good damage in and potentially hurt his macro by harassing with the Reaper. But I also need to be careful of not countering myself. So paying attention to the minerals. We have SCVs in production. So far we can just macro because the factory is still building with the reactor, which gives us time. Marine on the high ground to make sure he doesn't scout. Orbital on the low ground, pretty good.
Add-on complete.
It's good that we didn't lose the Reaper. I positioned my Reaper at his third so that we can delay it a little bit further. Right now is a very good play. We are banking a little bit of money, but I think that's fine. We go for Tech Lab, SCVs,
Your command center's been spruced
Aliens,
up.
and then once the starport finishes, we'll get Liberators. So right now I did block myself a little bit, so one thing I can note is to make sure that depot stays down so that SCVs can reach the low ground a little bit faster. We are not going to get supply blocked because I do have the depot. Hellions making their way down. I do lose the Reaper, which is not very good. But at this point, since we have the Hellion, it's not the worst. So I have to make a second depot right now because that SCV is idle. Good job. Again, I'm really being cautious on my gas this game, and I think I did very well spending it. There's still a few flaws I made this game, which is why we're reviewing it right now. Obviously, there's an overload on the low ground, but I don't really mind. 6 Hellions. Really good transition from me. Usually I don't really keep track of how many Hellions I have, but this game I was very on par with it. Reactor after the Liberator. And one thing I need to do is when I pre-click, I guess, the Liberator, I have to make sure it's in a very good position where they can't snipe it with the Queen, which I do. I'm just doing this to be a little bit more, to be a little bit annoying, but obviously it wasn't very effective because you can't really kill queens with the Hellions, so watch out for that. Overlord still on the high ground. I think I can take it out. I could have taken it out.
Supply depots required. Add-on complete.
A little bit supply block, which is my fault. There's still one SCV who's idle, which is something I need to keep in mind about.
Completed at the building you're probably about to...
So around 62 is where I get supply block, which is also when I try to micro the Hellions. So another tip to give myself is to always look at the bottom left to see my idle SCVs. Good job microing the Liberator so that we keep it alive to be annoying later. Double upgrades are online, which is nice as well. I should be creating more depots. Nice, nice. Okay. Double gas, that's fine. We're keeping track of our gas and spending by getting the 2 medevacs, which is a good way of spending our gas. Third CC down on the low ground. Around 6 minutes is pretty good, I think. Really good that I didn't forget about combat shields. Something to note. Constant SCV productions was just nice as well. One thing I did realize is that I forgot that I had the Liberator, which is harassing the Overlord currently. I think I should have saturated those gas a little bit quicker. Same thing with the third CC becoming an orbital. Alright, nice. We got our upgrades, which is nice. And this is the part where I might start falling apart. Because after I get the 311, I usually forget to get the 2 extra racks because as you can see, I don't have a lot of minerals, but it is quickly banking up after we get the 3rd CC. It banks up very quickly after the 3rd CC, which is something that I should keep in mind. Yeah, now eventually we do get the double racks. And then it's also really good to note that we also reached the conversion point of getting the factory as well, so that we can spend our gas a little bit more efficiently. And this is actually the first game where I realized that in TvZ, Thors are very good for spending gas and are an amazing tank for banglings. Again, supply block, which is something I should keep into account.
Don't forget to macro. Upgrade.
Notice how I backed off the creep, which is really good. I could have instantly died to the banglings, so it's good that I moved back a little bit. Supply block is a huge problem here, but okay, we lost the Hellbats, but huge hits on the banglings. I don't think this is enough roaches. Yeah, it's not enough roaches, so we might be able to take his 4th. Again, lacking on the macro a little bit. I could have gone to my 4th base a lot sooner. Still banking a lot of money, maybe add an additional 2 racks. I am producing Marines, which is nice. Those extra mines should have been able to help out earlier. As you can see, 6 SCVs are still idle. Nice pickup. That's something I learned. Huge hits with the mines again. Very good. Actually, this is the first time I got a Liberator. That might be the old Liberator. I'm not sure. But the Liberator is huge in this matchup because he has no Mutalisk, as we can see. Again, macro could be a little bit better. I should keep tabs on how many SCVs I have, which is perfect because I have 75. Biggest thing for me to keep into account is that once I get the 4th and 5th racks, I have to remind myself to get the depots. Nice job poking. This is something that Clem does really well, which is he scouts ahead. Good splits with the Marines as well instead of control all clicking it. I bring in little clumps of units, which is nice. Moving back so that the mines can do damage. Huge hits again on the roaches and on the banglings. So it seems like positioning is very important for the Terran. Yep. I can engage because there's no banelings, which is fine. A lot of medevacs to back me up. Medevacs are very good. I do have a lot of supply available. I am making... Oh, sorry.
Mineral field.
Again, this can be a lot sooner. I need to make sure when my bases are ready. Also, eventually throughout the replay, you'll notice that eventually I don't have as much income because all my bases are running out of minerals.
Upgrade complete.
A slight misplay by me. I should have definitely backed away there. Lots of minerals banking up, which means that, yep, I can get additional Raxus. Should have been a lot sooner though, which is fine. At this point, we can also add an additional starport or factory. I got the...
Your command center's been
what's it called?
spruced up.
What is this called again? Fusion core, right? I got the fusion core for the Liberator just because it's pretty nice. Yeah, I just got it for the Liberator. For potential biggie boys. I forgot what they're called.
Upgrade
Ultralisk, I
complete.
think they're called. Yeah, I think they're called Ultralisk. Tanks are amazing though. Oh my gosh. Even if you went Mutalisk, those tanks would be really, really helpful. So let's look at our SCB. Yeah, 76 is a good number. Here we burrow the mine. Got a queen out of position. Question is, do I want to make tanks with this? To siege? What he should have done is attack me from a different angle. Like while he's trying to defend this, he should also have a Ling run by. I think I would have been in big trouble if that happened, and in a lot of pressure as well. So I think this is the part where I started microing my units really well, spreading them apart, which is something I usually never do. And usually I die and lose the game every time this sort of thing happens because I always clump up my units. So this game is something I really try to focus on. I'm still constantly making SCVs, or not SCVs, Marines, which is good. 3.3 upgrades are also in production. And right after, the Armory makes another pair of upgrades, which is the Armory, the Armor, I think. Extra depots, which is nice. Should have been a lot earlier, as always. But the extra production from the racks are really coming in handy. But as you can see, we definitely need another factory or starport. Sieging up the Liberator, which is nice. I didn't start Liberator range, which is a problem. I got their fusion core, but not... Wait, oh, actually I am going for it. So everything dies. Widow mines are placed in various locations, which should be fine. Might do additional damage. Yeah, on the map, if you look at it, I think I got additional damage off of that. He should be trying to attack me at this point, and surprisingly, supplies are even. Yeah, I drone or I SCV up to 80. Good scout ahead to see what's up. Just Hydralisk. Tanks are really good against Hydralisk, is something I noticed. So I don't know if I should continue the mine play. So as you can see, I'm still banking up a lot of gas, which is a huge problem. I don't know if I should go for tanks, because mines drain up a lot of minerals, 25 gas I believe, but I need something that spends a lot of the gas. How much medevacs do I have?
Upgrade complete.
Yeah, I could get additional medevacs for sure. I am making a Thor though. Okay, so maybe I can go heavy on the Thor. Microing back, which is nice. Should have picked it up with the medevac, but it's fine. Where am I looking? I don't even know. Nice siege up. I think I won because of upgrades. Yeah, 3-3 versus like 2-1-1. This is a huge pickoff, I believe. Yeah, that's very good. Very, very good. He's very poor because I've been harassing all game, so that's the biggest thing I need to do. So throughout this entire game, I've definitely been harassing him, which is really good. And especially early on in this game, I was positioning relatively well. Not losing all my stuff to banglings, which is nice. Mines really did a lot of work. Huge hits actually in the early game. So yeah, around here is where I noticed that I'm not making as much money because all my mineral lines are running out. So I would say every 2 to 3 minutes I should be trying to expand, especially with the amount of money I have. So here you see me trying to micro my units, make sure they're spread out, and there aren't really any banglings. So this should have been fine for me to just engage ahead, but I didn't know that, which is why I should have scanned earlier. But this is good.
Mineral field empty.
Notice how
Send
we
those
don't have any
workers
more
to a new
medevacs.
base.
So one thing to keep in mind is how many medevacs I'm creating, and make sure I'm not creating too many medevacs, because there's been games where all my supplies literally just medevacs, which isn't good. The good news is that I noticed that, and I'm starting to produce medevacs again, which is better than forgetting it for the rest of the game. 3 upgrades are done. I should be going for my next upgrades, which is, I don't know what that is. Is that weapons? What is this? Oh, that's yeah, weapons upgrade. So notice how I actually got stem and combat shield relatively early so that I can go for this push. I forgot specifically what my build was. Well, I know it's a very standard build, but I need to pay attention more to the order when I go back to look at it. So this is the part where I really try to spread my units, which is so smart. And notice how in my control groups, I'm not F1ing. You'll notice that I get clumps of units and push in with them, and then push back, so that the units at the back can eventually try to harass as well. Notice how the banglings can't really do anything. I get another clump of units going in. Scan forward to see any creep, which is fine. Here I notice how much I can soak the bangling hits with the Thor. So I'm constantly trying to harass with these little amount of units. Maybe should have been a little more efficient, but that's fine. Trying to macro my stuff. I noticed that I haven't been making a lot of or enough money, so eventually I do start expanding like crazy because I do have the money, and because he's not gonna harass me. Tanks here were actually pretty good because I knew that he went for the Hydralisk, and then a good counter for the Hydralisk is tanks, and this sort of positioning is actually very nice for me because I can push up, move back, and then the tank can do a little bit of damage. So I noticed that Thors actually do a lot of damage to banglings. So this is something I should have done earlier. Move my mines forward. Like, he's very scared of my mines, which is good. I split my units again, which is very nice as well. That was a mistake, but that's fine. I'm not constantly producing units, which is a mistake as well. Now I'm constantly producing Marines, but are Marines the best decision? No, they're not. I should be making Thors, medevacs. I mean, Marines are fine, but eventually I need the medevacs in the mines. So I should stop spamming the A button for the Marines. So here I move my units a bit forward. Here I see him push in, and I notice that he doesn't have any more banglings. Eventually, I realize that, and once I do, I actually just push in. Yeah, here I realize that he doesn't have any more banglings, so I just push everything in. I did F1 here just because I knew he didn't really have much stuff.
Good game.
So that was very good aggression from me throughout the entire game. So what are some key points that I need to remember for the next game? One, once I get racks 4 and 5, I should definitely be paying attention to the amount of depots I make. 2-3x per cycle, I guess, making very constantly. Secondly, very good split, but make sure I am macroing correctly. And lastly, when I have extra racks like this, I need to make sure that I make a special structure, like a factory or a starport. I need to decide which one I want though. The tanks really helped, and I did have an additional enough money. He was on what is it? He was on Ling, Hydra, Bangling, and I guess Roaches. He was on everything for like a long time. and not a lot of air. I did get a few liberators, but I don't know if it's better to get tanks and Thors or liberators. Um, I don't know. Because the Thors are nice, but the problem is that eventually he does get Vipers, but that was way too late. Hmm. Also, bases every like 3 to 4 minutes, I would say, so that I can constantly be producing um money and always keep track of my gas. I did bank up a lot, and that's because I've been spamming the marine button. Here I could have gotten more liberators, tanks, medevacs for sure. Um, mines are pretty good as well. So I guess what I should start doing, and which I actually did at the beginning of the game, is to make sure I go for the factory and starport units first, and then the marines. So to wrap it all up real quickly, what I need to do is make sure I'm constantly making depots, specifically after racks 4 and 5. Um, After additional racks, make additional infrastructure. Let's see what else. Lastly, spend your gas better by going for the factory starports before anything else. Also, nice micro. That was a very good micro this game. Very good positioning. Uh, my God. Again, look. Go back in the earlier parts of the video, and look how well the mines, uh, how much damage the mines did. Like they took out clumps of banglings, which is crucial, and the Thor soaked up so much damage. So Thor is very good. Just I haven't really played against Vipers much, but as of right now, what we're gonna do is go for an extra factory for additional Thors and tanks, potentially. All right, all right. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube now, and this is around 3200 MMR.